welcome, writer friends. Welcome to a casual Monday, a casual writing session and editing for Kauffman Writes. We're in day 205 of episode 205 of Kauffman Writes, and day 274 of consecutive writing live streams. As with Mondays, we're keeping Mondays super casual. No setup or banners or anything for it. Straightforward. And also with updates. Now, for those of you who've been with us daily for the past couple of weeks, you know that we have a major event coming up in October. Super fun. We got to do a big reveal for it last week, which is awesome. Our fiction contest. I'll get into that in just a little bit for those of you who want to learn more. But yes, so we don't have anything. I don't have too many big announcements that we don't already know about. I'll pull up the schedule for the week. So this is going to be a very casual week of writing streams. So I'm not planning on too much because I really want to make progress with Last Scarecrow. We've spent the better part of the last month doing a little bit more on the prep for it, and then finally starting in on it last week. So gonna make some great progress this week. Let's see, and I have this pulled up here. All right, perfect. And here we go. So I got the schedule pulled up for this week for those of you who want to know. So we're keeping the schedule, like I said, very, very light this week. Nothing crazy. I'll just pull that up here so you guys can see that. And let me hop into the comments real fast and see who we got. Mass Toaster, welcome. And Bethany, yeehaw, howdy. Here you been on writing spree this morning. DMV was a hit on getting some writing done. Yes, being stuck at the DMV, you probably got some really interesting stories just by hanging out there and seeing people. DMVs are crazy and time consuming. But welcome back to the stream, Bethany. Glad to have you back in the community. Time to make some good progress with the writing this week. Let's see, an ML, welcome. Glad to have you in here, my friends. Guardian Legacy is rolling on along in writing process, and Ms. Courtney Stevenson, so close to your writing goal. So close, Courtney. You're going to finish it this week. You haven't already. So, like I was saying, this week I am keeping it very casual. Where I'm not going to do anything special for Saturdays. Stream like I usually do, so that way we can focus on some story progress. We will be retaining our writers group on Wednesday, where we'll be joined generally by Chatsoul and Miss Penelope, aka Jezebel, and probably some of our other writers from the Right Now community. I've had some more interest in our writers group, so we might have some new members hopping onto the stream with us this week. Once again, if you want to join us on the stream and you just want to come chat with other writers and come talk about writing and try to do writing sprints, drop a comment. Let me know if you want to come join and I'll include you in the member invites. Or if you want to just come chat in the conversation and hop in the comments, you are more than welcome to as well. Our Right Now Writers group is always fun. I think we'll be on our 12th meeting. I think this Wednesday is meeting number 12. So yeah, that should be quite good. Good. Let's see, I was trying to be nosy at the DMV. That's kind of a hard one. It's and I think this is a writer thing. Like when you're out in public, like you have such a tendency to people watch because you really want to kind of understand what people are doing. And for me, I'm like, all right, I'm going to turn you into a character. I need to better understand these personalities and dynamics. So no more readings on submissions. Absolutely readings. So we actually just had our previous story and critique show, episode 29, this past weekend. So the next episode of the story critique show, which will actually be episode 30. Wow, I can't believe 30 episodes of the critique show. Will be next Saturday, Bethany. I've started spreading out the critique show episodes for so I could try out other writing formats. and to make progress on Last Scarecrow. So a combination of both. This is actually probably one of the first Saturdays in probably like a couple months where I haven't done a special live stream for Saturday. So it'll just be another casual writing stream, but great question. And yeah, actually, if you do want to submit, like, you guys should actually submit now for the next story and critique show. Let me see. I'll go pull up the link. So that way, if you want to submit now or you want to submit this week for story and critique show episode 30, and I'll send this. Awesome. There's that. So there's the link for story and critique show episode 30. There you go. So there's the form if you want to submit now. I know it's been a little, I think we last read your story a couple months ago, Bethany, but I moved to using that submission form now to speed up to, to kind of just like make it a smoother process. So definitely recommend submitting there. I just dropped that in the comments for y'all. But yeah, submit now. I'm just not doing the critique show as frequently as much as I was previously. So, but great question. Great question. No, I'll never stop doing that. I have way too much fun with it. And I tend to lose my voice half the time. Apparently, when I do too many voices. Let's see, question. When you go through your second draft, do you completely rewrite your text or edit the original? It looks like you rewrite it. That's a very great question. So it's going to be contingent on the chapter and how much work has to be done on a chapter by chapter level. I'll be going into this right now, ML, because it's actually a really great question. So bear with me just a moment and I'll come back to this because I'm going to hop into my outline. But let me just finish with our podcast. So this week, our major event this week, and it's interesting since I'm only having the one major event this Sunday, but it's actually a huge guest. So we're going to be having Zara Hoffman over with the founder of indie publishing house, Inimitable Books, and we're going to be deep diving into how you can get your first book publishing deal. She has experience with both traditional and indie publishing. So it's going to be a really great episode on this Sunday. We're going to format it probably a little bit like a workshop. So that way, for any of you who are thinking about going the traditional publishing route, this Sunday's podcast episode is going to bring you a lot of value. And I believe it's going to be episode 20, actually, of our Create Right Now podcast. So Sundays will definitely be a great episode for sure. Hey, what's up, Novel? Welcome to the stream, my friend. Let's see. Would you like something that follows in the line from last reading or something else? It's Bethany. It's completely up to you. I would say that but what I generally recommend for writers submitting is either A, the one thing that they're like working on right now that they need help with, or B, if they just want to start at the beginning of the story. Now, I know we start at the beginning of your story. It might not be as fresh in some of our more current viewers and audience's mind, only because it was a couple months back. But I would say start with whatever you need help with. We always get a range of different genres in the critique show. What's interesting is what keeps people watching the most is always thriller and horror stories. I don't know why that is. We get all the ranges. So we generally get fantasy, sci-fi, horror, memoir, children's, and then a range of other fiction genres. But the one type of story that always keeps people watching the most tends to be mysteries and thrillers. So yeah, maybe everybody just wants a good mystery and they're on the edge of their seats. That could be why. Sweet. So yeah, definitely submit. And then that next critique episode will be next Saturday, which will be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it'll be next Saturday, October 12th. Ooh, Courtney, you are so close. You are so close, my friend. There's cross. I can finish it within this live. Yes. So so today's is going to be super casual. I'm not going to do writing sprints, but we'll do writing. I'll have writing sprints for the rest of them. Our writing streams the rest this week. Cat Courtney trying to take the take the title from Chat Soul. Well, we'll have to see how that looks on Wednesday. Sweet. That's awesome, Courtney. Thanks for the heads up. That really helps it out because I usually check the submissions like the day before or the morning of, depending on my schedule. I advertise it all week, but I don't check it until then. So then I'm literally pulling up the submissions. I'm like, all right, where did I last leave off? So that really helps. Thank you. Yeah, that's probably good. Actually, Bethany, as we're speaking of Halloween, now is probably an excellent time for me to advertise our next major holiday event, the Freaky Friday Flash Fiction Competition. Super exciting. I am really looking forward to it. So most of you know, and I know a couple of you already submitted, but our Freaky Friday Flash Fiction Competition is going to be fire. This is going to be one of the coolest competitions, one of the coolest things that we have going on. And this is one of our first of 3 major holiday events. All right, I'll pull up some of the cute logos. All right, there you go. So here's just one of our ads for it, but our Freaky Friday Flash Fiction Competition is going to be fire. This is going to be such a fun event. It's going to be so cool, so much fun. Essentially, you have 2 more weeks. You have 2 weeks from today to submit a Flash Fiction story. The submission guidelines, 750 words to 1,500. I think we have about we have a good couple number of submissions so far. You got 2 weeks. Essentially, of the 12 finalists that will be selected, your story will be published in a Flash Fiction anthology. You'll get a one-on-one critique with either myself or Penelope. You'll get a live reading of your Flash Fiction by a professional author. Like, you're getting a live reading of it during the event itself. And then the 4 winners that will be selected by the live community will do a poll. We'll do a voting. Those 4 winners will win $20 Barnes & Noble gift cards. So it's super cool. And then the submission form just kind of goes through the process of what to expect. But the live event itself, so the deadline is Sunday, October 13th, 2 weeks from today. And then the live event itself, Freaky Friday, is on Friday, October 25th. Spooky Saturday is on October 26th. We're going to have a bunch of guest authors. They will be some crazy big Halloween events. And they're going to be so much fun. So definitely, if you want to submit or you want to know more, the details are in the YouTube description. Click on the YouTube description. The submission form is down there if you want to know more. So that is quite a lot of fun and definitely something I'm looking forward to. And like I said, that's the first of our 3 big holiday events, because we have 3 major holiday events that we are hosting. Awesome. And you guys are all used to our big holiday events coming up. So we have our Freaky Friday Flash Fiction Competition, followed straight after by a 4-week Choose Your Own Adventure event for NaNoWriMo. So Sol and I were partnering for the NaNoWriMo event. We're fleshing out the logistics of it. It's going to be so cool, guys. Like, I'm telling you, if you want to be involved with this event, it's going to be every Saturday in November, which means our critique show will take a break for a month. I'll probably do 2 critique shows before November, but then during the month of November, you'll get to participate every single week in creating a story. And Bethany, I know you were there. Some of you are probably here with us when we did the Hermes the Cat story, Hermes the Cat Lost in Purgatory. So we'll be doing a similar type of dynamic where we will create a story together as a community and publish it to NaNoWriMo. Anyone involved will get a co-author credit. So it's going to be super cool. And then also, because Sol is a game developer, we're going to get to experience the game at the end of the month. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have some other guest writers join us, and it's going to be quite a holiday event. And then December will bring up the rear of the holiday with marking the 1-year celebration of the Right Now community. This is going to be an all-day writing conference. We're going to have workshops, games, discussions, and many, many authors. For those of you who were here, who joined us in July for the 6-hour write-a-thon, it's going to be like 3 times as big. This is going to be the biggest writing stream of the year. I'll start announcing more details for it when we get closer into November. So super cool. Clearly, we got a lot going on over here. And yes, Courtney, only 14 more subscribers. 14 more subscribers. And then I will launch the Right Now Discord channel. There we go. So we're getting so close, my friends. 486 out of 500. When we hit 500, I will launch the Right Now Discord channel so we can all stay connected outside of the streams. Super cool, super fun, and clearly we got a lot going on with the Right Now community. Bethany, so great question you were asking about the fiction contest. We offer, so we offer 4 genres. You can write in any of the 4 genres: horror, thriller, supernatural, or mystery. You can go as scary as you want to go. Scare the pants off us. Have fun with it. I know we've had some writers in the community are going to go more like, some are trying like more of like a unique approach of trying to go something that's experimental. Some are just going more thriller. So far, we've gotten submissions in all 4 of those genres. So definitely have fun with it. Know that it will be refined to the 12 finalists based on mine and Penelope's judgment. We're going to be judging we're going to be refining from all the submissions to the 12 finalists based on readability, based on does it contain one of the spooky elements, and then the style, which is how well do you use the character development or the world building to tell the flash fiction story. And then of the 12 finalists that make it to the live events, the live competition, that it's going to be based on, people are going to vote on which stories they like the most. So, but every story is going to have a fair shot because it's going to be read by a professional author. So it's going to be super cool, my friends. Very, very fun. Bethany, you're like, I may be a happy person, but challenge accepted. You should definitely submit, Bethany. It'll be super cool. Yeah, we'll figure out the exact story we're going to do for the Choose Your Own Adventure event. We'll be announcing that and deciding that as a community as we get closer to November. Dark romance is fun. I mean, I think it's probably a reason that romance is one of the more popular genres right now. Dark romance is a lot of fun, though. Definitely dark romance. I know that's the biggest challenge of a flash fiction, right? The biggest challenge of flash fiction isn't writing a crazy story. It's how can you write a story within the word limit. So that's generally the hardest piece. You're going to find that you're going to want to write this really cool story, but you're going to feel like you do not have enough words. That's what makes it a challenge. So definitely good luck. I'm looking forward to something super badass from you, my friend. Yep. The shorter word count. Exactly. Cordy gets it. All right. So let's hop into, so there's some of our, there's all the announcements. Nothing crazy new this week. Let's see. Next week, we'll probably have something new for you guys next week. But that's what we got this week. Nothing crazy. All fun stuff. So good stuff coming. And now let me pull up my outline because I would like to hop into my writings. All right, so ML. So I know you were asking the question about rewriting, about editing and rewriting, and it was quite a great question. Where was it? Perfect. So, Emily, you asked, when you go through your second draft, do you completely rewrite your text or edit the original? It looks like you rewrite it. I could absolutely see how you would think that, especially because what I've started on was literally rewriting the first chapter. So with my editing process, I take a chapter by chapter approach. Now, all of you know that I've gone through the whole process of doing prep work for the entire first draft of Last Scarecrow. Let's see, Last Scarecrow, second draft, planning method. So you guys know I spent a whole month prepping all this stuff, right? The character development, the world map, the weather, the magic system, all that stuff. I do this so when I'm writing it, I don't have to spend extra time now making those decisions because I've made all the strategic decisions for the story. So, and specifically, it's so I can go through the second draft without having to stop or minimizing the amount of time I have to stop. So as I'm going through the second draft, I like to take a chapter by chapter approach in terms of asking myself, what is the goal of the chapter? Chapter 1 is done. Now it's time for chapter 2. Now, as I get deeper into this, I may or may not do this portion of it every single time, but for all intents and purposes for you guys, I'll start off with this. So what I like to do, I like to go pull up the original manuscript and see. What I'll start with is I will review what I had for that original chapter. All right, so here's the Word document, and let's see what we had. So I've already rewritten chapter 1, and so ML, to speak to your question, some chapters I will rewrite, some chapters I will edit on top of. The reason why it's a mixed approach, if I rewrote every chapter, it would take me way too long to redo the book, but I know not every chapter needs to be rewritten. I know out of the 55 chapters, I think about 5 to 6 of them need to be rewritten, and then a good majority of them are going to be edited on top and adding details. But I know because when I started the story back in January 1st of this year, where the story was at 9-10 months ago is vastly different than where it's at today, which is why the original Scarecrow's journey just wasn't as engaging, and I knew that was something I would always have to work on. Now, I have to review the second chapter here. So I know when I figure out what types of goals or what I need to accomplish for the draft or for the specific chapter, I like to start going through it. Okay. All right. So, like I said, so what I'll do is I will review it, and I'm just reading from a bare bones level. I think this chapter I'm actually going to be able to edit on top of it. I don't actually think I'll need to rewrite this chapter. So I actually think this is going to be doable. This was a new feeling. But I'm definitely going to need to be adding some elements to it for sure. So I'm going to copy paste simply because we're transitioning to a different writing software. I'm going to drop that. And I figured out actually how to upload the full draft onto AutoCrypt. I just needed to adjust some features on there. There was something on my end that I needed to adjust. So for right now, I'm just going to continue working on my second draft. Wait, what did I have here? 140,000. Interesting. Oh, look at that! The whole draft did upload to it. Huh? How'd it do? when I tried to upload it before, it wasn't uploading all the way. Well, fun. Okay, now I have the entire draft on here. That's good. So let's see. Excellent. So it has all 55 chapters. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So, all right, that is perfect. This is exactly what I needed. So obviously, this is my title. wonder if there's a title. If I just do title page. Oh well. And then I probably recognize that when I do this, this is probably when it does a page. Okay, so I kind of use this as my outline. And this is kind of how you use it to jump by. And then you do some type of chapter analyzer. Not going to worry about analysis for right now. Okay, so I got to pull up AutoCrit again and transfer over my chapter 1. Bethany, has there been any horror game board games like Monopoly or Jumanji and Dark Scale? I don't. In terms of the critique show, I haven't seen any horror. I haven't seen any stories that involve a horror game. But we also haven't looked at any of these submissions yet. And even if I did, it probably wouldn't be fair to say which submissions we've received and what style they are, since it's a bit of a competition. But everyone's, of course, more than welcome to talk amongst themselves. What I would say is that a horror game would actually be super fun. If there's a horror story that involved like a horror like Monopoly or Jumanji, I would love that. Those types of movies, those types of movies are always super fun if that's a direction you're thinking about going. Ooh, that's good. You were able to put, you said character names in it. That's awesome. Or chapter names. That's cool that you actually had enough room for chapter names, Eli. That sets up a good ambiance. I know some people till I was wondering if you did. Yeah, I would say that I'm mixed. I would say if the first draft ML wasn't that great, or if there was a lot more problems, I'd rewrite the whole thing. But I feel pretty good about the original draft. I just know that I have a lot of work that I have to layer on top. The submission link, Bethany, is down in the YouTube description. And then you also have 2 weeks. Let's see. Where did it go? So once again, you also have, where's that one? Is like I had the flash fiction thing up here somewhere. Yeah. So, and once again, guys, you also have 2 weeks to submit here. So deadline for the Freaky Friday flash fiction contest is in 2 weeks, Sunday, October 13th. So you guys still got some time. I'm like, how many people are probably going to wait to submit at 4:00 p.m. an hour before the deadline ends on Sunday, October 13th? Hey, what's up, Lynn? Welcome. I usually estimate that most rewrites are about 30 to 45% of new text. Yeah, I would say that's probably a pretty accurate estimate. Lynn, I'm curious, for most of your rewrites, do you feel like it changes from book to book, or as you get farther along, you probably increase the amount that you have to rewrite with each book? Like you probably improve the process since you're used to your writing style. Courtney, as many times as he has rewritten his blurb, Kauffman would never publish it if he rewrote his novel. Exactly. Yeah, Courtney, you already know. But specifically, you guys know I'm investing so much more time into that blurb rewrite, because if people don't read the blurb, they don't buy the book. So that's why, like, I know that the blurb is very, very critical. There's definitely a reason that I've spent more time in it on average. So awesome. So there's that. All right, back into AutoCrit. We don't need that. All right, so where was I? So I'm glad it actually uploaded. So what I need to do, so this is my Last Scarecrow draft. Clearly that's the 140. I didn't think that it would upload the full thing, but clearly it did. So I did the chapter 1. I rewrote chapter 1, which was great. Good. Awesome. Chapter 1 done. Now this is the original draft. I'm just going to paste this on top of the original one because I knew chapter 1 needed that rewrite. Perfect. All right, and now I can go straight into chapter 2, The Forest of Lost Bones. Okay, so let me pull this up so you guys can actually see it. And then, so I just reviewed the second chapter, and then something that I like to do is my outline. So you guys see here, I like to go through a chapter by chapter. I like to just review. First, I'll review the chapter and ask myself, basically in this one, Scarecrow travels through a forest and nearly drowns in a lake. Scarecrow travels through a forest, encounters remnants of machinery, and nearly drowns in lake. Or maybe he will drown this time. We'll see. Actually, I think I thought of something fun to do. I have to remember what I was thinking last night. The goal of this, I think this chapter is just going to be not a rewrite. I think this chapter is going to be more of an edit because I think it's actually clear. I need to add on top of it because I need to add a Field of Dead Scarecrow bit. So add, I don't need that to be bold, add a prelude with Scarecrow, with dead scarecrows. I also left Scarecrow off on a cliffhanger, so I need to tie up the cliffhanger. Tie up cliffhanger. And I think the crow bit has kind of stayed the same. What I obviously have to change is Scarecrow now only has one arm in this version. The original version, he was his hat was stolen. Now his arm was stolen because I know that the stakes needed to be up. So cliffhanger, dead Scarecrow, and I think these are the only two real things. I feel like I thought of something cool to do with the lake, but lake plot adjustment. I don't know. I'll just put question mark. Like I thought of something cool last night. Clearly this is a problem when you don't write stuff down. Okay, so there's my goal for that. Now I just move that to the other screen and continue on here. And let's see, before I hop into it. ML, thanks for your explanation. I was wondering, I'm an edit-as-you-go writer. I've written whole novels and felt too overwhelmed to edit. Yeah, and I think because the editing process can be so overwhelming for a lot of writers, that's why I try to do a mixed approach where there's going to be like some writing, some rewriting, and then some editing. Because the more work that you get done during the draft, the less work you're going to have to do on the next draft, at least for whatever goals you wanted to accomplish. So I'm of the mindset, try to do as much as you can in one draft, but this is just my process, right? Every writer will have a different process. Do you feel like the end of the book shows an improvement in your skills? You've been practicing so regularly for almost a year straight now. I'd be surprised if the end isn't better written. Oh yeah, the end is definitely way better written. But I think something to keep in mind, Eli, is I've also been writing for 25, 30 years. And I think what's changed with after doing this every day for a year so far, like I said, 270 consecutive streams. I think what's changed is my consistency with the characters. So the world itself is just more succinct. The characters' voices are more accurate by the end. So I would say that's definitely improved. And then when I first started, I wasn't used to writing on a live stream. So that was a learning process. And by the end, I figured out more of a balance. So I feel like in some of these early chapters, I might have lost my train of thought. But then by the time I got to the end, I think I figured it out. I mean, I think I figured out how to talk to people and try to get some work done. So let's see. Bethany, I will be a last submitter. To do busy next few weeks. Totally understand. Lynn, absolutely changes book to book. Some is less than 10%. Current is more like 55%. Okay. So it really changes on how much work you have to do on the specific book and probably how much you have set up already in the workflow. And I think I would totally agree with that. And that's why it's always hard, Lynn, and I'm sure you probably get this question from other writers. It's always hard to give writers an exact definition of all right, this is how much it will take to do this book, because every single book is different. Which is why a lot of my strategies is I take an overall strategic approach. Pantsers, plotters, all right, whether you're a pantser or a plotter, I think there's a combined strategic approach where you can fix the different elements of the story. Now, however you want to go about that changes for everyone. I totally get it, Courtney. I appreciate it. We'll get to 27 blurbs before we know it. Woo! Less than 1,000. Woo woo. Or maybe Scarecrow will drown. Well, that was a short book. All right, guys, this was a great book. Scarecrow died on chapter 2. All right, let's get into it. So, where did I leave off? As you guys know, I have to like read the ending of my last section. All right, so I ended off on a cliffhanger. All right, so where was he? Scarecrow gulped. He might not remember much of anything, but he wasn't about to let that bird get away with his only arm. Perhaps a little adventure would jog his memory. The thought excited him. Something about that word, adventure, scratched out a memory underneath the surface, but it passed. I want my arm back, he shouted. Only a distant echo could be heard as the crow grew farther away. Only is not necessary. A distant echo could be heard. A distant echo rang out in the sky. Rang out. A distant echo rang out in the sky as the crow grew farther away. Caw! Scarecrow clenched his fists in the air, taking a couple steps forward. Okay, well, guess the grammar is not working. Oh, all right. And when I do, he stumbled, realizing he had stepped precariously onto the edge of a cliffside. Scarecrow rocked back and forth, arm wobbling to and fro, while rocks crumbled at his feet towards the watery drop hundreds of feet below. All right, so I left little Scarecrow on a cliffhanger. Literally, I left him on a literal cliffhanger. He's on a literal cliff. I was like, okay, this might be the perfect definition of cliffhanger. Scarecrow rocked back and forth, arm wobbling to and fro, while rocks crumbled at his feet towards the watery drops hundreds of feet below the cliff. Below the cliffside. No, I just repeated that. Cliffside not necessary. All right, so chapter 2, The Forest of Lost Bones. So, okay. Obviously, this is before I did the cliff bit, so we need to time this. And my computer is going very slow, so I have to close out some stuff. Okay, let's see. We don't need both of those. All right, hopefully slightly better. Hey, what's up, Andy? Welcome, my friend. Stopping in to boot the like button. Aw, I appreciate you, my friend. Bomb.com. All right, let's see. So the crow became a speck. I was like, I probably don't need the second one open. Yeah, my computer's kind of going slow right now. Testing this out. All right, so I'm at like a 5-second delay. That bugs me from a writing standpoint. Hey, bear with me just a second. I'm gonna hop off the stream and hop back on because I'm gonna plug in my internet because the lag is bugging me. 1 second. BRB, my friends. Uh, I just plug it in. It's like I don't always have to plug in internet or the cable these days because I don't usually have too many lagging problems. I don't think I really dealt with the internet lag till I dealt with it a good deal in spring until I finally figured out how to solve it. All right, so now I can write in peace, hopefully. That's an interesting call out. Wondering if he's determined. And when I do, I want my arm back, he shouted. Good call out. If it seems like it's too implied. I actually think I like this more. I want Crow's response to be immediate. Good call out. I think it does work. Because he hasn't spoken too much. But good, that's a good point. No, I'm gonna keep it the way I have this. I think. Glad to have you in here. My bad. That's awesome you were able to make it. I know I usually end up streaming earlier on a lot of our weekdays. So I'm at the beginning of chapter 2. Okay, that's actually a good point. Not quite, Bethany. His arm was stolen by a crazed crow. What to write? All right. Yeah. I feel like I made a little good progress for the start of that. I actually wasn't expecting to rewrite the beginning of that, but when I was thinking about it, and I know ML asked a really good question earlier, something I forgot to talk about I was like, make sure the music's not too bad. Something I forgot to mention is when I go through my outlines, I always, on the second draft, where did my outline go? On the second draft, I always like to add foreshadowing. So I always like to, on the second draft, at each chapter, I like to make sure that I'm adding a new element of foreshadowing in the book because I want there to be a lot of foreshadowing. Foreshadowing is a lot of fun. So that is always very, very important. Let's see. What other ways there to start without a fear of dead scarecrows? I know, right? I'm like, we'll keep it interesting. We'll mix it up. Let's see. What other way? So at field, that damn crow. It's damn crow sending our scarecrow on a journey of a journey. Oh man, let's see. I'm not sure I understand how a scarecrow is dead. I thought TLS was special because it is alive. Were they all once alive? That's a great question. I'm trying to understand how scarecrow is dead. I thought TLS was special because it is alive. It is. Were they all once alive? They were, my friend. Something that I realized in the plotting out of this is for it to work as the last scarecrow, I don't think that he can be the only scarecrow of his kind. Well, I think he's the only scarecrow alive. I think he's the only scarecrow alive. But for him to constitute as the last scarecrow, maybe the book would work better as the first scarecrow. It's kind of funny now that I think about it. But I think with only that, I think only as the scarecrow, I just don't think it can be the only one. Now that I think about it. What makes him special is that he's still alive, but he's the only scarecrow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's basically what he was going through. It's like pieces of past scarecrows, the ruins of clothes and burlap sacks. Yep, that's basically the field that he just went through. Was he in that coma state when the others were alive? That's a good question. Was he in that coma state when the others were alive? This brings up a whole nother portion. Now, something that I've realized to play around with is the end of the first book speaks to how Scarecrow ended up in the field, but it doesn't speak to what happened in the time between Scarecrow ending up in the field and the time that Scarecrow, the opening moment of this book. I think originally I had led it to believe that, okay, Scarecrow ends up in the field and then he goes into a coma. He goes into a coma. But really the last moment that we see, and this is technically from a flashback, is Scarecrow landing in the field and just watching the sun. There's actually going to be a whole bit. There'll be a whole bit in between. But I think the Scarecrow bit, with the reason there's other Scarecrows, is going to be left as foreshadowing for later on in the world. Yeah, and that is the truth. So Scarecrow is definitely the last one that's completely intact. He was turned into a Scarecrow as a result of his battle with our antagonist way, way back when, on either hundreds or thousands. I have to figure out how long I want the specific. I haven't figured out how long I want each era to be. That one I'm still thinking through, but I do have the overall timeline of the world. Yeah, right now he is the only Scarecrow alive. I'm kind of like thinking through. I think I do want it to be a recurring theme that there are inanimate scarecrows scattered throughout the world. I think that is something I'm going to play into, but I need to think about the plotting because I think it's going to be a bigger world building element that's going to be more relevant for later on in the series. I don't think it has to be anything world changing. I just think that the Field of Dead Ones is going to have the impact it needs. It can't be a retroactive reveal that they once were alive. The Field of Dead Ones is going to have the impact it needs. It can't be a retroactive reveal that they once were alive. That's a really good point. My opinion, doesn't go back and make the whole reading experience. It just clears it up, but it robs the impact from the initial reader. I think that the Field of Dead One's going to have the impact it needs. It can't be a retroactive reveal that they were once alive. Okay, so you're saying, Eli, that you think it has the most impact of the reader realizing that they're dead from the beginning, as compared to revealing that they're dead later on later on, at a later point. Is what you're saying. I want to make sure that I understood that. 3.5 hours till 10:01 here in Eastern Time. Only 100 words an hour. It's all good, ML. We're always at different typing rates on the streams. Well, I almost did 1,000 this live so far. Courtney, you're almost there. You're literally at the tail end, aside from his one arm being crow-napped. Yeah, Scarecrow doesn't. This isn't a very like. This hasn't turned out very well for a Scarecrow so far. Once again, this is not a very kind world to most of our characters, and it's very intentionally so. But it's supposed to be dark and difficult and traumatic because it makes the wins that much more profound. Yeah, so far in the first chapter and a quarter, he woke up, got his arm stolen, and almost fell off a cliff. I think I'm going to play into the clumsiness. I think the clumsiness of his character will give him an endearing factor. I think I am going to play into the clumsy aspect of his nature. The clumsiness, though, is actually because he wasn't designed to be a scarecrow. But yeah, I do actually agree with that. I do agree that the reader should know that they're dead from the beginning. That is something that I played into. I think in this, but it's such a short part, and once again, like, it's not supposed to be any big thing. It's supposed to be a very brief moment in time, very, very brief, and a lot of things that are happening in the world building in the story section are supposed to be very brief. Like, let the reader experience the horror that Scarecrow feels. We won't like to back and feel and update our feelings when it comes out later. Yeah. He is going to see somebody soon, but not a Scarecrow. Absolutely. And I think this is the interesting challenge that I have with Scarecrow. His initial emotions and his initial feelings are dulled. So he's not, since he's not used to experiencing emotion, he doesn't really understand or really remember emotion quite yet. I call it to him feeling something, but he's not sure what he feels. Yeah, because he doesn't really understand it because he's been out of it for so long. It's kind of like in a daze where he doesn't remember anything, but there's certain things he does remember, which I'm very intentional about what he does remember, but there's like certain very basic things that he doesn't. And I think part of it is he doesn't remember what his he in a gut level, obviously he feels the things, but on a logical level, he doesn't know how to explain. So he feels a sense of sadness, and I would say it's like a sadness of dread, but he can't speak to it. Only he knows that he feels something. And then in a few chapters, he's going to encounter something he does recognize, then it's going to speak back to that dread. Yeah, and I'm like, what was this foreshadowing? And I think this is actually foreshadowing one of the things that he's going to find in a couple chapters. Mm-hmm. I feel like you'd really like 100 Years of Solitude. Its main theme is memory and time. Ooh, I probably would actually. I do generally like. I love time travel. Time travel is always fun when it's done well. Yeah, I'll definitely add it to my list, Eli. That's awesome. Yeah, what's interesting is I don't think I've done. I'm trying to think of if I've done a story on that revolves so heavily around memory before. Time maybe a little bit. I don't like, maybe I have. I feel like I probably have, but I knew that the central theme of Last Scarecrow would be memory. Memory would definitely be a huge theme. Yeah, that would be super cool to check out. Okay. All right. Well, I feel like I am at a good point. Yeah, so I feel like I'm at a pretty good point. I feel like I made some good initial progress with this chapter. I have to kind of make a decision because I think I'm going to make an adjustment in this coming chapter with what happens in the forest. I don't want to do something huge, but I've been thinking about, I want an element of the world to have a greater impact on Scarecrow very early on, and I've been thinking about it. Obviously, he's lost his arm, but I think I want to give some type of I want to add another sense of mystery to his current trajectory, and I think I have an idea that I'm going to play around with in the forest. Remember not to mess up your map. I know you're right. No, yeah, I haven't actually messed up the map at all yet. Right now, let's see, where's my pictures? Yeah, so I definitely haven't done anything. That's a good call out, ML. But yeah, it's like even with the map right here, right now, this is just where Scarecrow's at. I was like, if I adjust this, then I'd probably adjust the cliff here. I'd probably adjust the cliff so the cliff side is more obvious, and then have this entire area be a field. That would probably be the right way to adjust it. But right now, like, this is essentially where he was at. Yep, he's right there. Prison cells with tattered remains of scarecrows, maybe in ruins. Yeah, we're going to get to a ruins type area in a few chapters as well. So I might play around with that idea. And I'd have to think about it if I want there to be scarecrows prevalent in the world outside of the starting area. So in the original draft, I don't think I had any other scarecrows. I had him kind of question it in the beginning, but I don't think I had any other scarecrows prevalent or scattered in it at all until like the very, very end. And I think I did need another sense of like foreboding or foreshadowing. I need to add a crow to the field on the map. I probably should actually. That'd probably be kind of cute if I did like this whole thing as like a field, kind of like make this a little bit more defined, and then add a crow right here. That's probably a really good idea, actually, ML. I think in the final draft, I'll probably do that in the next draft of the map. Yeah, nothing else to define them. It's just kind of saying that they're there. I like that. Awesome. Well, I think I've made some good progress today. So I think that was awesome. I'll continue on with this tomorrow and figuring out like, okay, what's the right next step with the forest. I don't think I'm gonna have to rewrite the forest scene too much. I think I'm just gonna add. I want to add a moment to the lake bit. Yeah, I'm gonna add a moment. I want to add a little foreshadowing element there. If we had a Discord, then when I finish, I'll know. Since Kauffman sounds like he is ending the stream. Yes, I am. Yes, I'm wrapping up now. Onwards and upward. But Courtney, I know you're literally almost done. You are literally almost at the end. We'll celebrate tomorrow. I'm assuming you're going to be finishing. Well, we'll celebrate tomorrow. Like, the fact that you've literally almost made it is incredible. Yes, I will be. I'll be sharing it. I'll be sharing the first round tonight, and then we'll be sharing it consistently over the next couple weeks. Good question. Yay, Courtney, you got it. You got it, my friend. You're going to get it. We believe in you. We believe in you. Well, we'll celebrate tomorrow, my friend. And more to come. I appreciate all y'all. This was a good stream. And that's all that I got for you. Once again, I shared the schedule. I'll be back up tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific, 4, 5, 6 p.m. Eastern, based on live streaming schedule. Once again, this is the schedule for the week. That's what I got for this week, my friends. I'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for joining me today. Thanks for another casual Monday. We'll probably have some more updates next Monday. We'll probably have a couple more like new updates, but hopefully we get close to that Discord, my friends. Only 14 subscribers away. And that's what I got for you. No cool outro today, other than that I appreciate you, and I'll catch you on the morrow. Later, friends.